Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 3 with Black Ice 8.6. Okay, we are still in the midst of shifting forces west. We are also shifting some occupational forces east. We're waiting for some events to happen. As you can see, this is still all considered Polish territory here, with the resultant Volt risk. And a bunch of stuff, and that's one of the things I was waiting for. Okay, railroad levels 5, we've lost 4, which 0.2% better IC production and supply throughput 0.2 better in both those. Not much, but you got to remember King George V battleship is launched and the Prince of Wales is launched. Remember, we also have some other effects from researching the text as well, so in combination all of them, they are very useful. Okay, we want to get back to Greater German Reich, and although we did pop up, I see a captured train there. We can now click over here and see that that's now our territory. So this region here is what is known as the general government. Poland was to be erased from the map. That is not a statement of a final solution for the Polish people. I don't know what would have happened to the Polish people. I know that there was sort of a thinking for the Czech people. If I remember this right, a sort of one-third solution. 1/3 of them were going to die. Don't know exactly how, but 1/3 of them were going to die. 1/3 of them were going to be Germanified, and the other sort of third were going to be shipped east, if I remember that correctly. Maybe I have that wrong. Shipped east to be, colonists in east. But there was some sort of plan like that, and there may have been some sort of thought like that. But definitely Poland was going to be erased from the map, and unlike some of the other territories with occupational governments, Poland was just the general government, and did get expanded east a bit as they regained the Polish territories. Okay, another SS Totenkopf Standard. Okay, Polish or German Portuguese. Polish too much trade agreement. This will be good for us. We get improved relations, but the big thing there is lose some money, but get a lot of rare materials. And the RAD, we can increase the size of the RAD. The reason this kicks in for more manpower was, as I've talked about before, the RAD very much was, as you can see by the shovel, an outdoor, often farm, but German improvement organization, infrastructure, labor type thing that was after the Hitler Youth. Before you going into the army, you were getting military training. Not so much like combat maneuvers, but just rifle and other basic military training. But as the war was happening, even a bit in Poland, I think, definitely in France and the invasion of the Soviet Union, they were sent in the immediate wake of the advancing troops to repair bridges, repair roads, build roads, doing that sort of infrastructure type stuff. And those people, particularly the ones that were being sent into the former Soviet Union, or territory formerly of the Soviet territory, they were armed, basically just given rifles. Like, hey, you have some rifles. Here's 90 cartridges, and okay, that's it, just in case something happens, whether it's a partisan attack, a strike, the enemy does an unexpected counter thrust, and so that you were armed to protect yourself. They weren't, the Germans really get in a lot of gray areas on a lot of things, and obviously they go into a lot of illegal areas too. They weren't really part of the armed forces, and they weren't wearing like the the Volkstrom at the end, they have the I'm in the armed forces armband that they put on while wearing party uniform. So it was not really a combat military organization, but it was sort of in that quasi zone and mostly armed for um, self-protection. But the manpower, which is a pretty significant, and I'm looking at this not just now but for the whole game, is that it frees up manpower that the army would have to be repairing the roads, repairing the railways, or whatever. They have these disciplined, as opposed to civil workers, just whether conscripted or hired or whatever, civil workers that you got to be a bit more pacified in the region to come in and work. This could be in a combat zone working, but frees up military, so that does that. Okay, build National Center for Defense Research. I'm going to go with my sort of normal one, which is our skies, and we're going to do single engine aircraft. I don't know what's best for Germany on doing that, but it's just the option I've been taking. We're going to create convoy raiders. That would be useful. And this is, which maybe I should have shifted some of that other, knew that this was going to happen, so we're going to not go for that. So it reduces our thing. Send into Ordnungspolizei into the general government. See, getting that right there. Yes, we're going to occupy that, which will give us these units here, which will help us. Pair 2 flak core for Paul Gelb. Yep. Polish machine tools. I know I've said before, I've found other historical information about it. Some of the weapons, now they, of course, when they came in, anything useful, and machine tools making toasters, well, part of the toaster, I don't know how, is a pressed metal body, could be turned into making helmets or something, or just they need more toasters. But a lot of the stuff was confiscated. Some of it was sent to Germany, including some of the directly military weapons production, because Poland did, not nearly to the level that Czechoslovakia did, but had a substantial arms production capability. Again, not to the level of Czechoslovakia, and by far nowhere near the German level, but they were producing their own weapons. Some of that was dismantled, moved into Germany. Others, and I do know that even during the invasion of the Soviet Union, they were still producing weapons and such in Warsaw. So some of it was left there and put under German management, but with Polish workers. So they did sort of both, but this gains that. Okay. Henschel and Son. Yep, tank factory. Kessel, good. I don't want to spend the money right now. Okay, this is here. Now we can see, because that's now our territory, we don't have nearly the revolt risk. And I think now a lot of the ones I built and put in here, like this guy, are now available. I really liked working with the other modders and going back and forth. For some reason, I gotta remember that. Sure, I got the picture for that, but for some reason either it's mislabeled, just a spelling error, or somehow didn't get in the package. But I sort of, why does this guy have a Highlander or Hill Fighter capability? Well, looking at his uniform with this sort of Jaeger type hat versus or cap, or whatever you want to say, versus one of these other guys that didn't have that type of more of a policeman's hat. And no, I don't want to do that just yet, but I do want to do this. And some of the stuff that I based on, we're not going to have a leader, but some of the traits is looking at the metals. That doesn't necessarily, you got the metals doesn't necessarily mean that he's qualified or good, because people have been, obviously just given medals in their lifetime. Well, let's send him up over here. So I will completely acknowledge that it isn't from any great biography reading or whatever. And I did that for a lot of the SA men that I have as, SA leaders. If if the picture that was provided for, that I had, that had World War I medals, like an Iron Cross, you got better combat stats than if I, had one with zero ribbons, zero medals, and was younger. So presumably they may have never even had, because if they were sort of grew up in the Weimar era, went into the SA, they may have never had any military training, and just, so they got much less skills and such. So that is sort of some of how I did this. Okay, yes, we are going to welcome aboard Romania into the Axis. Great. You can see Romania is coming in because it has lost territory to the Soviets. Now we have the full historical Axis, which is good. I sometimes sort of wonder if that's overpower, or overdone, because I've sort of already, to some degree, with Third Reich events, and we have another Totnikov, and we're just spanning a new we would lose this over here. And yes, no thank you, no thank you, which clears it out. Yeah, not as useful as they used to be, I don't think, but yes, we're gonna do that. Where is the... Because I sort of already taken account to some degree, but it doesn't, well, I don't know. Where is it? There we are. Okay, right there. Totenkopf. We're going to send them up there. I want to get rid of these two militia units because they make it move super slow. And, well, before we even go there, this needs, because it was motorized. Let's drop in. Well, those are also civilian transport. Well, those aren't. Yeah, I want. So you, where are you heading? We've got you heading out there. No, so. And let's also move. We're going to be taking down Western Europe this year for sure. Yeah, they could use better artillery, or better mountain artillery. So let's move all of these guys up to here. But I'm going to sort of wait until I'm properly prepared. The Vienna dictate. Yeah, we're going to do that. That way we will please delivery. A new industrial zone. Great. Come with a cost, but great. We're going to do that. Yes, 9th Army Commando. Did you get formed in? Yes. Good. So we're still using something right there. And not right now, no thank you. And infantry support weapons. Good, 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 good. Also, I know I was talking earlier about the lack of ICs. Also getting a lot of these western territories here will get us a lot of leadership, which will mean more officers, more research capabilities, things in which I was missing somewhat on the Eastern Front. Infantry guns, good. No. As this is sort of the most one of the most confusing things for me. Not exactly sure. This is obviously in winter. That's snow around there. The NSKK is obviously a big organization, but it's expanding more and more into the transportation. And at this time, it also, if you notice, OT on the sides there, and transport Speer for that pass. That so you have this, and it's just an NSKK qualification badge there. You have the Kraftwagen Transport Regiment 1 Speer der Luftwaffe was formed in the summer along with the 2nd and 3rd. So it's NSKK, it's organization tot under Speer. Now this is happening a little early, obviously. And it's now also sort of part of the Luftwaffe. Sometimes because of their collar patch arrangement, which is a black collar patch for their ranks, sometimes they're mistaken as for like Waffen SS units in some photographs, and like I've seen in like North Africa. Oh, here's now they weren't. The SS was never down there. Now it was the NSKK that was there, because you can sort of tell because they're wearing Luftwaffe pants, which are baggy at the bottom. So yeah, so this is sort of a multi-organization, and part of the main reason for this was going particularly into the Soviet Union. The Luftwaffe didn't have a lot of transportation. You know, they had bases, they had trains that would, come, rail systems that would get supplies, bombs, fuel, whatever, to a lot of their air bases, because you can look to sort of see where these air bases are, and if you know anything about it, there's lots of railways. Shipping is easy. If you need trucks, you got some trucks. It just happens. But once you're getting out here, you start getting further and further away from a railhead. You start needing to move a lot more supplies and equipment. The Luftwaffe just didn't really have the organization to do that, and which to me, being a Californian, is hard to understand, where basically everybody drives in California. Lots and lots of Germans, a very high percentages, had no driver training. So you couldn't just go round up, in California you get 20 California recruits into the Air Force or whatever. All 20 of them are going to have driver's licenses. Okay. Now I don't know if that's New York City. I don't think that's quite true. But across most of America, it's that way. So, I don't know how to drive a huge, big rig truck, and there's a lot of training to do that. But one of these things, sure. I mean, I'm not good in manual shifting, but hey, I can, know to put down the clutch to try to figure it out. But I could use a little more training to do it well. But I'm basically a decent driver. A lot of Luftwaffe recruits wouldn't have been that, so they couldn't just go pick up a bunch of Luftwaffe personnel and then now you're truck drivers. So they had to get the NSKK to provide the drivers. And for a lot of them that we're here, we're going to move you here because we may want to organize you up with something else. Blockade action underway. Is that you can, be in the NSKK, be in one of these transportation groups, and even you're on the Eastern Front with all the problems of being on the Eastern Front, but you're not a combat unit, so you're not as likely to die, so I'm sure that was a factor. We are producing, we're producing plenty of supplies. Just, I think some of the events, so let's also shift. And we are still, well away from getting these guys. And the Anson. Anson was a British admiral. Okay, so now we have, let's give these guys some AA leaders. Nah, he's almost too good. He's good for intermediate supply. That'll be fine. And there's one other one of these, isn't there? These are all the trains. Got a lot of trains. Don't know exactly other than just set them around to. You used to be able to. They weren't you see, they're now actually sort of a headquarters unit on their own, so you can't attach them to headquarters units. So, okay, these all come with leaders. So let's just send these west. So I really, other than just, you got them, so you use them as occupation or other sorts of things that really not as neat as they used to be, in my opinion. And because we are going to be moving in here, but I don't have the same sort of gotta go now, we're going to wait, get all these units here, get them up to the border, sort of wait for the supplies to flow to them so that they're like fully supplied and everybody's ready to go. Okay, so conditioned to click on that to see what the battle is and how it's doing, because I've been playing a lot of battles in the East and there's thousands of those popping up. Okay, yes, you can have energy. Yes, you may have energy, Bulgaria. Well, I'm going to up that a little bit just to make sure it won't go to waste. Well, let's click here and here to balance that out. SS, that's a photo of one of them. SS, sort of news organizations, basically to promote up the SS. Tell everybody how great and wonderful it is. We're getting that from using a few convoys. Well, you know, what I'm going to do now is, and I just quite honestly probably should have thought of that before, because I have been playing the other alt version. We went to war with the Soviet Union, and so I couldn't trade with the Soviet Union. Okay. Because all that got cut off, which was also pain. Okay, rare materials. How are we doing for... We got a plus 25, so let's cancel that. Oh, small little button there. We need 3, let's cancel that. Nope, at the wrong place. Okay, and oil. Ooh, lots of oil. Okay. So now we cancel some of those, but let's come over because we can't quite get all. Okay, so they're producing a surplus. So let's request off their trade agreement. We want to buy oil. And so how are we doing for... Okay, well, we got more production, so we're gonna... Decline it. I want to look and see what other production. Okay, is it just that oil? So, well, that's 40, and we've got a... So we can cancel that. Crude. Steel and steel. Metal. Okay, we got plenty of that. So let's just cancel all this and then see how we're doing. It was that's a lot still. Let's cancel. See how that goes. I needed to still be bringing in, obviously still at 98%, but I still don't want to have the losses. Okay, so we've got all that other auxiliary. We still got to get these damn things built. Motor torpedo boats, the Siegfried. So let's stick the motor torpedo boat here. 7. Then we start getting organized up. No, not donuts. Yeah. Don't we have a naval? Yeah. Give it to them. we need more steel. So let's look at the Soviet Union. And they don't make enough steel. Okay. Well, we can deal without... Oh no, this is rare materials. What am I thinking? This is rare materials. So let's... We can get rare materials from them. No, we can't. We have a deficit of that as well. Let's see, we can... We're not going to sell to it. Bummer. Still don't want to be trading across the Atlantic. Or all the way to the Pacific. I'm going to cut all of my trade with America that's incoming. Well, we'll just have to take French and Dutch really soon here. Okay, so you're trying to catch up headquarters wise. We have an active. Well, six army, good. British now, yeah. We could be there. As you can see, we've got plenty of forces over here. It's more of a question of waiting for fuel to show up, and the Fuhrer. Now let's give him a leader. Bad one, but I really don't plan on having you being very active. And we're going to attach you, I think, down here to Hitler. You can only attach so many, but let's give Hitler his Fuhrer headquarters around Germany. Okay, now let's remove these, because they slow up the unit, and let's add that. That's still a pretty big unit. Oh, we don't want him in charge of these guys. Let's find some. They're going to disappear in a while anyway, but let's give it to him. So now they're much faster. Yes. Yeah, he can go to the motorized under Guderian. Still like them faster, but what's slowing them down the most? Here is it. Obviously, the train is part of it. Oh, the Condor Legion's heavy anti-aircraft, and I want that to stay because those are obviously good. All of those are a bit large. What I'm looking for is, because these things I've experienced, they're just a little too light. As an offensive force. Well, it's also very fast. Sorry for delaying things. I should probably do this off camera, as it were. Mostly letting the clock and the fuel supplies and such get to where they need to go. Okay, decryption machine has advanced. Good. So now we're at 43 on that. Trying to read that. This reduces time between attacks, so we want to do that very much, as well as other benefits. Maybe a few costs, but these I want to get done so that I can invade Norway. Okay. Okay, general direction, the Ostbahn, basically Director General of Eastern Railways. Again, as I'm sure I've mentioned before, from George 1941 made this event. So we will do this. This will be helping out it. If you watch the alt versions, it helps some, but really the time it takes, which it should take, just pushing off after the Soviets so fast as I did that time, is just putting a big strain on things. Not gonna spoil it. Not finished with it at the time of this recording, so I don't know how it's going to end. We give them money for fuel. I don't want fuel, so no. Oil I could take, but I've got enough. Okay, ground fighter control advanced. Very good. I want to keep researching at least one thing in this field. Air superiority tactics. We're doing for revolt risk in the east currently. Oh, much better, much better. Okay, we got two here. Let's move you over to there. Agriculture, good. Good. International, isn't it? No. Construction, okay, good. Just gives us more manpower. No, not yet. There, that'll be more useful. Okay, Arno Becker, he's the sculptor. We've seen him winning the silver medal for sculpturing for the Olympics. Thought this was interesting. There's Speer And you can see it's stylized to some degree, but he does a Buster Spear. As I said before, we don't know what happened to it, whether it was destroyed or had been hidden away or whatnot. I just thought that was interesting, and that's all that event does, is be interesting. Okay, we give them energy? Sure. Japan, what do you want? Give you money? No, we don't. We need the rare materials, but don't want to ship them across the world. I want to actually stop what U.S. shipping I still have. Okay, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania have been occupied. We'll move you up to here. And let's move the Königsberg garrison to Memel. Just to sort of show the Soviets we do have a little bit of a east front. Capability. In Peru, give them money for now. And I'm still saving my money. The ugly map, the political map. Just an informational event for Tanganyika to say, hey, and this was a poster in a rally at the time. Return all of our lost land, not just the Poland, which we've got back, but other territories, reminding the player that you have other options to think about. Obviously not immediate, but that's when the rally was held. Recently, in my recent research, and I'm probably going to end up in Tanganyika, and I think it was December 36. Czech was making statements that to keep the peace in the world, Germany needs to get back its colonies. And I think that partially not just a sort of we're going to go to war or give us our colonies or we're going to go to war. I think it was more of a, because he was in economics things, is to relieve the strain of competition, shall we say, to give Germany markets to sell some of its industry that it, production, and also to give it some resources, give it back to colonies so it can have expansion. So you do that, there'll be less conflict in other areas, kind of thing. If you do this, it will reduce later conflict. So that's how I'm taking his statement. It wasn't detailed what I read, but it was just, okay, yes, we want to expand the German police, basically, as you can sort of see, out of shape men, and this is maybe a cavalry unit. I've seen this picture. I think I analyzed it for the other thing, in that they're wearing cavalry boots. The officer here, with a sword and not a rifle, has reinforced breeches, though a lot of guys wore breeches that weren't in cavalry units. But I think it's interesting that the non-officer, the rest of them, will carry pistols as well as rifles, which sort of again reinforces the police nature of their duties. But just the officer probably wouldn't be carrying a sword. I know it's for a photo, and reinforced riding breeches if he didn't have a horse. There were, and I have some photos of various cavalry detachments that were police. So I don't know if any of them the detachments were big enough to warrant a special police cavalry unit over well, regular sorts of, that they just had some mounted men within a regular police unit there. Okay, it looks like here supplies have mostly caught up with us, so I'm going to end the episode now, do a bit more reorganizing, getting ready to start our fall gallop, hopefully next episode. So thanks for watching, thanks for liking the videos, I do appreciate that, and of course please post questions, suggestions, ideas, comments. Love hearing from you. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron.